Lucian or Callista. That's what I'm hoping for. Let's take a look at the power picks banned away thus far, Malzahar Camille.
But then you've also got to look at the man who stands aside on the opposite side of the rift, right? Hans Sama. He also has this very trading-heavy style. He's the one that's played has played the Draven at times. So I want to see what these two AD carries actually bring us here. But again, no real change in the ban priority. We're seeing a lot of Lulu ban. Some of that is to do with the rise of Kog'Maw compositions that is happening over in other regions. We've seen it a couple of times in LCK, mostly to losing affairs, but that was up against KT Rolster, so it's not always the comp that does that for you.
And of course, with the Lulu, she got a small buff a couple patches ago. Supports around her starting to get nerfed, and exhaust starting to change. You know, like the meta shifts, so she's risen in popularity, and Shen has not changed in popularity. Still one of the top picks here in Europe.
A lot of focus on top lane right now. G2 taking away a carry potential for Misfits. I wonder where we're actually going up in the top lane now. With Camille banned, Shen banned, Nautilus has to be the one that you look at it. And G2 take that. Yes, it can be a flex, but with all of this talk about dueling in the bottom lane, I have to expect this is going up in that top lane.
Yeah, and of course it is top lane week. Expect actually had a quote in one of the articles that I think VODS put together, speaking to a lot of the top laners, where Expect said, as a team, G2 have got a lot of carries everywhere else on the map, so he doesn't necessarily need to play a carry. And we've seen that a fair amount from him. If you look down Expect's champion pool, and Ignar, he just insta-locks that Thresh. We've been wanting to see it. He's been
be able to manage to survive, sort of. But I wonder what they will play into it.
Yeah, I think usually maybe it's because there are so many bans, they just want to, like, you know, ban Cannon, so Misfits doesn't pick Cannon as a counter to Nautilus in the third pick, because then it's kind of annoying. Because usually Cannon comes out as a ban in the second ban rotation, just when you already show your top laner and you want to, like, you know, just counter. You just want to ban the counters to your top laner. So I guess maybe that's why they want the Cannon ban there.
But do you think that Cannon is actually good against Nautilus?
I think laning phase Nautilus might win after first base. I think for pre-base, Cannon will win really hard. But I think after base, maybe Nautilus has like a bigger power spike, just because, like, you know, Cannon will maybe buy like Negatron or Recurve Bow, and then Nautilus just has like high enough base damage just to just, like, you know, who can get good chunks off, because Cannon won't be able to like sustain that much. But after like the maybe second base, then Cannon will kind of like take over the lane really hard.
We just go back to the pick and ban phase here. Like, seeing so many top lane bans is something we don't see very often. Is this a 7.5 thing, or do you think it's just Misfits trying to really force Expect onto a tank like Nautilus, which actually is a fine pick normally? So them banning out 3 top laners seems a little bit odd when then giving the best available tank.
I think Camille ban is like a standard ban for purple side. I think Shen is also maybe a standard ban against G2, just because Expect is kind of comfortable on it. And Rumble, I think many teams right now consider Rumble like the best blind top, and maybe like the first pick material for blue side. So I guess that's the logic behind those 3 bans.
You get the Renekton as well for Alfari. So basically Misfits kind of trying to force the Nautilus early pick from G2, which is a flex, we have to highlight. Mithy has played it as support before. Would there be any top lane left for Expect to play against Renekton with the current bans? Like, is there a chance we see this Nautilus being flexed into support?
I don't think they will flex it, just because there's so many top lane bans already. If they flex it, what will they play top, do you think? Maybe eventually Gnar?
Probably Gnar into Renekton.
Yeah.
Or Misfits can now maybe ban Gnar, you know, just to like ensure
just to make sure that it doesn't get flexed.
Yeah. But I think Gnar would be a decent pick, just because like Misfits has...
It's pretty good against their comp too.
Yeah, like Misfits has Graves and Renekton, so Gnar can just, like, you know, rush Ninja Tabi, and then he kind of gets away with the lane a lot easier.
Yep, definitely also feel like you can play Nautilus support against Thresh down the bottom lane if you are G2.
Yeah, Mithy likes to play it into Thresh and Karma, I believe, so...
So maybe we're onto something here where G2 are actually kind of tricking Misfits. Misfits really wanted to force the Nautilus early pick into then a Renekton counter and try and play around the top side, is what it seems like right now.
Yeah, but I think it's gonna be hard for Renekton, because side lane against Rengar is, once the map is open, you don't really want to go there too much. So Graves gonna have to babysit Renekton a bit, sort of.
Yeah, I think when the map opens up, it's going to be kind of difficult for Renekton. Or at least even in the early game at like level 6-7, when Renekton will buy like double longsword or something, Tiamat, he's going to be kind of squishy. So I think, you know, Nautilus and Rengar have way more than enough CC to just kill the Renekton.
Yeah, especially if they kill him on the level that Odoamne said, like on 6-7, then they just can take turret, and once the map is open, it's a lot worse for Renekton. And if he die once, if Renekton die once in lane in this kind of matchup, it's a lot more valuable than if Renekton dies against Camille, for example, as they played against.
So very clearly for Misfits, they need to make sure Renekton
yeah, they need to
early.
make sure that he is not gonna die to a Rengar 6.
I think he's still fine, you know, even if he dies once, just because like he's just like a really strong lane bully, and Nautilus needs some levels and some items to scale. Like he'll still be fine in lane, but he kind of just like he slows him down a lot, you know, because he won't be able to like pressure as much, and then Nautilus will get like some XP, some extra gold, and it just makes it a lot easier for him to just go through the laning phase.
Hey, a lot of people. Sorry, go ahead.
It's also gonna help Nautilus if he gets one kill and he opens up the map. It's gonna help him a lot to roam around and get TPs and be able to roam mid lane eventually if he takes down Renekton turret and things like this.
So let's take a quick step back and just look at the comms overall. Like it is top lane focused, obviously, but we can't ignore the rest of the map here. Looking at this pick and ban phase, anything stands out to you guys?
I think G2 has like a pretty strong comp. Their catch is really strong, and I think Rengar with Syndra are pretty good power picks. Braum is kind of okay. I think it just provides a lot more CC. Caitlyn is kind of like a lane bully, so I think they might have pressure bot. I'm not sure.
But
go ahead.
Sorry. It looks
so
like
nice here. I like it. I love it.
We're also friendly.
It looks like it's gonna be a backlane fight. Like both teams have sort of wanna play backline, right? With Graves, Ashe, Thresh, and Misfits with Syndra, Caitlyn, Braum. So it just feels like the Renekton is just out of the comp, sort of, because like Nautilus is gonna do so much more than Renekton is in teamfight.
Yeah.
So it just feels weird to have Renekton with this type of comp, in my opinion.
I think it was fine until then, but the thing is, they just drafted Caitlyn Braum, so I think that will just like, that neutralizes Renekton really badly. Because let's say if they had like an immobile AD carry like Varus and like a typical Karma support, say, I think like Renekton would have like, you know, big enough impact in a fight. I think Nautilus would still be better just because he's like a bigger tank and more CC. But Renekton would have like, you know, some sort of backline threat. But now I think G2
I gotta cut you off though. We gotta talk about in-game because we got a video coming up.
But if he doesn't trade, he loses. I can ult to gank too. Yeah, same bot lane is, if don't fight, we win.
Focus on farm and trading less, make sure jungle doesn't have to come bot.
It's on somehow.
Okay, I want a lot of communication this game about mid-game, okay?
My videos and then sit at home and go like, wow, I'm so excited to watch myself.
Yeah, I am. I just watched them and I'm like, oh, I'm so hyped to have played that match, you know?
Oh, I wonder what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
All right, let's see this game here. We talked a lot in the pick and ban phase about like Renekton, Nautilus, how they fit in the different compositions. Early game right now, I think we just have to start with the top laners. In the laning phase itself, the first few levels, are we just expecting like Renekton to have the control and Nautilus trying to survive? Is there anything else that could happen?
Well, I don't think too much will happen. Like Renekton is obviously should be able to push Nautilus in, but there shouldn't be really any dive happening just because they have Graves, and Graves is like probably the worst jungler at diving top lane.
Because he just shoots the tower.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can just run on turret and he can't really dive you, unless Nautilus is obviously really low, and then he can just smoke bomb and maybe get one auto off or something.
Yeah, I think maybe like in the early levels, Nautilus can sneak a push off just because if he times his W properly, he can maybe get a push off. But I think with levels, Renekton should be able to just push and zone and just chunk him really low.
Now, something we have seen quite a few times with these Raptor starts is the Renekton
getting
takes
one Raptor.
Yeah, he takes one. So why is that?
So he gets level 2 on the first wave, and he can possibly get a big chunk on Nautilus. We can see that Nautilus went straight to lane and tried to push out the first wave, so he's gonna have the wave control pretty much now.
I actually think this is good for Renekton just because like after this wave, the wave will kind of be stuck in the middle and Renekton will just get level 2 and then he can just like zone. So I think what Nautilus kind of did here is fine in a way, but it's kind of a mistake just because like, you know, he has one Raptor. so he will get level 2. So like we will see on this wave, like Renekton will just play really aggressive.
Yeah.
And
You don't think Expect should have just probably not push the wave as hard. You should have just take control of it.
He should just like pull the lane and just let them come to him.
Yeah.
And then he kind of like neutralizes this level 2, because if the wave will crash into tower on Nautilus tower, then Renekton can't really abuse his level 2, you know. Well, right now it's like he just keeps zoning. And now Renekton has 100 race, so he kind of like made his lane really bad.
Nautilus is probably gonna farm with E for the next like wave as well.
Yeah.
He can't really touch LCS.
Yeah, if he gets close, he'll get chunked really hard. Because I think Renekton might have taken W here. I think it will be a good choice.
For you.
Oh no, he took E. I think he would have been better to just take W, just because like the wave was like, you know, contested. It wasn't like any slow push going on. So he wouldn't need E to gap close. He would just play really aggressive on the wave.
And at this point here, like, you're not looking for any sort of jungle attention, I assume. It's just you play the 1v1 lane, you can see both junglers are just busy farming.
Yeah. I think this is fine. Like, this ward here is pretty good, because for the next minute or so, he can just play aggressive. And that's also good. I think if he would have wanted to just like ward over the wall and check the plant, he might have been a little better to deep invade, maybe ward on blue or ward on plant and just save himself a ward. Because now he will have like a huge vision drop in 1 minute or so, and he will need to be at least scared of the jungler for like, you know, 2 minutes or so.
Obviously, Nautilus gets to just kind of even out the wave and keep it now frozen at his turret, or not frozen, but keep it very slow at least.
Yeah, it's gonna be a slow push towards Renekton now.
Get some of that CS. So
I think it's fine for Nautilus, because at least now he has like the next wave as well for free farm, unless Renekton decides to chunk. But he has like minion stacks, so he can play aggressive on this wave. Like Renekton needs to give up pressure because he can trade in minions that much.
Are you ever excited when you lane as Nautilus, or do you just kind of accept, okay, this is gonna be a
well,
not
it's
so
more exciting than
laning
with Maokai, for example.
That's fair. That's true. There's a bit more skill involved.
No, but with Nautilus, you know, it's exciting because, like, you know, if you see him walking up and you're like, oh, I can hook him, and then you're like, haha, I hooked him, and then you feel like a bit skilled, you know. But with Maokai, you just throw your little sapling there, and now after the nerf, you just like, you know, you throw it in the air, it lands, it doesn't do anything, and you just wait for it to pop, and then that's the most exciting thing about Maokai.
We're 4 minutes into the first game. We've already flamed Maokai. We're glad he's gone for now. Could still see. Do you actually think we can still see some Maokai being picked?
I think with like, you know, 6 top bans and maybe like, you know, actually I think into Nautilus you get pressure really hard, but at one point you're just gonna go even once you get some MR. But the early game is still kind of like really rough for Maokai.
Yeah, if you play Maokai and Nautilus have like full pressure early on, and you can also run to middle and put a lot of pressure on the map before Maokai can do something.
So, expect guys got his first back here just to get away from Maokai, because he's not even in this game. Walked all the way back.
I think it's really good. I think it's really good. Just because he got like, you know, 2 or 3 wave stacks, and like now he kind of, he maybe lost like 1 or 2 minions in XP, but he got Dorans and Dark Seal, so I think it's really good. Maybe I would have wanted to see maybe just double Dorans instead, but I think this base is also pretty good.
Is there any point in this lane where Fari will be able to kind of snowball on his own and actually solo kill the Nautilus?
Well, pretty much how the matchup is supposed to be. It's like if Nautilus is pushed out, or if trying to push out, and maybe Alpha thinks that enemy jungler is not there, then he can try to go all in when Nautilus is like in the middle of the lane already.
Yeah, this is kind of a bad base.
At level 6, Renekton can possibly go for all ins.
Why didn't you like the potential base?
It's because like there was no minion stacked, you know, like now, like imagine Renekton wasn't here and Nautilus would just spam all his buttons and maybe force, you know, Renekton to TP to lane, else he would like lose maybe 2 minions and a cannon or something. It's just like the wave wasn't pushed fast enough and it was just really slow, and the wave was like already there when he wanted to base. So it wasn't like when Expect based, you know, just because there was like, he had all the time to just walk up to the lane and not really miss anything.
It's a good game we picked to watch the top lane because nothing else is happening on the map. Yeah. No one has even done a damn thing.
I didn't even look at that, you know. I was just so absorbed by this game.
In LCS, the matchup tend to be a lot more passive on top lane than what it is in scrims, honestly.
Yeah.
What would happen in a scrim? In this matchup?
Renekton will probably play a lot more aggressive than what he's doing right now.
Yeah, but I still think that like even if it's like stage play and people tend to play more passive, Renekton kind of like gives you the tools to like, you know, just play aggressive and don't really get chunked a lot. Just because like if you get a wave freeze with 100 rage, you just sit in front of Nautilus, and if Nautilus wants to like go last hit, you just get like chunked for like I think 30 or 40% just with WQ, and then he would be like, you know, pretty safe.
Nothing's happening.
Nothing.
Nothing at all. But this is actually
nice,
good for
top lane.
Yeah, this is a top lane stream. We were hoping for Fiora versus like Camille or something, but we get at least one carry, somewhat carry.
Imagine it was like Nautilus Maokai, and then we were like, haha, he got the push. Wow.
Trust me, if that was the matchup, we would go and do a mid lane stream with you guys instead. I'm sure you guys can play mid lane, right? Somewhat?
But I'm pretty sure like G2 should be happy that it's this way right now. Like Nautilus is having equal CS, so it's gonna scale much better, and at some point they're most likely like they both have TP right now. So at some point they're eventually gonna look for a dive, and if both top laners TP, it's just gonna be better for G2.
So basically the way we look for this top lane to kind of open up is by leaving the top lane and like TPing to the bottom lane as an example. We don't expect anything to actually happen right now in the 1v1.
Normally you want to if you're playing this matchup, but here Renekton is not putting that much pressure, and he didn't base or get a TP for 8 minutes, so...
Yeah, I think just expect kind of like outplay them just with that base, just because like, think about it, like he based at like 4 minutes, so he had 4 minutes of like 1k gold over his opponent, so he just had free laning phase, just because like just because Alphari took a bad base or just didn't, you know, think about it.
Yeah.
So like, because usually like Renekton should be really strong, but right now like Nautilus is ahead when Renekton should be really hard, but just Nautilus had a really good base there.
Yeah, it's not even like Renekton base is that great right now, because ideally you wanna base with your Phage, right? But here just base with the Phage and the HP thingy, so it's not even gonna be that strong. It's not like Nautilus is gonna get owned by...
Yeah, he should maybe just base with Tiamat and just have like a huge spike, maybe even blow TP to lane. Because like if you would like blow TP to lane, like if the wave is like slow push to you, maybe enough, you can just blow TP to lane and kind of force enemy to TP as well, just because you get really big lane advantage.
So not only is Expect doing fine in his lane, he just got 2 deep wards as well in the jungle of Misfits, and actually on the minimap there are like 5 control wards being placed by G2. Obviously one of the reasons Misfits kind of struggle to force anything.
He also boots level 2, so he's much faster roaming on the map, can possibly go mid if you have a push out, or he just uses his time to get deep wards, so it's pretty good for him.
I mean, as 2 top lane tanks yourself, both guys, does it make you horny when you see Ninja Tabby?
I'm actually not that big of a fan of Ninja Tabby early game. I would have wanted maybe like... I would have wanted just Chain Vest and another Cloth Armor against Renekton, but I think Ninja Tabby is pretty good. Maybe I'm just like, I don't like it that much. I'm just like used to building other stuff, but I think Ninja Tabby is pretty okay. Because yeah, like the level 2 boost, just the speed is
the speed is pretty good.
Yeah.
People in Korea, they like to do it a lot. When they play Rumble matchup, they like to get early Mercuries as well to be faster. When they play Nautilus or Maokai.
Yeah. I think it's pretty good, especially against Renekton, just because his W was supposed to do like 250 damage or something, and with Ninja Tab it's going to do like 110. Oh, we
might have action, boys. Let's see what actually happens.
I think this is good for Misfits though. Yeah, this was really good, because Renekton would move faster as well. So he had the push. He like has the push all the time, so he can just like follow up. So Misfits can always just invade like this, just because.
I believe the SS mid was not called from Mr. Perkovic.
He was just busy winning his lane a bit, you know?
Of course, of course.
Yeah, just tunnel visioning.
Alright, we're putting all the blame on Perks here.
Yeah, it's definitely his fault. But he's 10 CS ahead, see, it's worth.
It's actually...
Jungle died for 10 seconds.
Of course. It's something we actually see so often in pro play that's really hard for like a viewer to kind of follow, is like when there's communication problems, potentially. Like when something like this happens, a guy leaves his lane, walks into your jungle and kills your jungler.
It's just unexpected, so most of the time it should be called, but sometimes like it's called, but it's called in a way that, you know, oh, he's missed, but most likely he's basing, you know?
Right.
So you tend to not care as much as about the call it's supposed to, and then he's like, oh, he's not based. He was maybe half HP, half mana, but he knew that they will go to wall, so it was set up, you know?
It's just called in a poor way, because there's times where even I call sometimes when I kind of like not really thinking 100% what they can do, and then it's like, oh, he's missing, instead of like calling a more direct call like, hey, he's invading your jungle now, just be careful, you know? That's kind of something that I think happened there.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So you almost hurt your teammate more by giving the wrong call and saying, yeah, he's probably basing, and then your jungler's like, okay, I'm safe, and then he gets invaded.
Yeah, it's just being kind of... It's just you're being kind of vague, so it's really hard for him to like make a decision there. Because he could just call, hey, he might roam here instead of just like, you know,
it tends to happen less in LCS though, but it still happens, as we can see.
Yeah.
Good old professional players being lazy with the calls sometimes.
It's fine. We're like focusing on lane, you know, like if I play Nautilus against Renekton.
You're focusing on the lane, yeah.
We don't want to miss a cannon minion or something, you know.
There we have it for everyone in solo queue.
Like, see, now expect his
do not
pinging
miss
miss.
a cannon.
He's pinging miss just because he's busy on hitting the cannon, you know? Like, he couldn't say in comms, hey,
Yeah, he's probably not saying anything, just spamming ping.
He's just spamming ping. See, like, he's spamming more now. He's like, yeah, I want to push the wave.
Well, this time Perks did actually walk to the bottom side. Didn't get ganked.
I think just because he pinged enough, you know?
Of course,
Like,
yeah, he was spam pinging.
Yeah, you can't always ping too much, you know?
The problem is, I feel like from a EU solo queue, pinging doesn't always mean the guy's missing. It could also mean that, you know, the guy's trolling, or you want to just be annoying
Yeah,
at
it
your
has a lot more
teammate.
meaning to it, right?
It means a lot, actually, pinging miss in EU solo queue. But Alfari right now is, even on CS, which it's not a great thing for him. Is there anything he can do at this point to kind of really snowball?
I think it's a bit too late. Like, even if you don't get a CS lead, as Renekton against Nautilus, what you would like early on to have is at least have maybe a TP advantage or something like this, right? But
yeah.
Right now, it's as you said earlier, it's pretty much a dead lane since Nautilus has had a better base, right? And Renekton was sitting on too much gold for too long, right?
Yeah.
So right now it's a dead lane, and I don't think Renekton is gonna snowball at all this game.
Yeah.
I think it's just gonna be teamfight dependent a lot,
yeah.
and I'll probably give it to G2 since they have better teamfight comp in Nautilus, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think with Nautilus now, it's like the lane is just gonna be 50-50 forever. There's no more window for like Renekton to kill him. But I think Renekton is still like, you know, a good skirmisher, just because like he's ulti right now and he has like a lot of base damage, so he can just like still make fights. But like Nautilus just has way more CC, and I think if G2's coordinated, I think G2 has like the upper hand by far.
We have seen a few times their Orianna ball on Renekton, double dash in to like set up a good ulti. Could be the way for Alfari to do something. Expect is running to mid lane though. We did see Power of Evil just flash before. Perks did the same.
I think it's really good just because like G2 made a lane swap, so he kind of had like, you know, close enough. So he kind of had like free time, you know, because like look at the bot wave. I think it's kind of maybe I'm not sure. Might be pushing towards Misfits, but like right now you have a lot of spare time. Oh, he's pushing towards G2, so this is perfect.
G2, yeah.
Like he doesn't need to be bot right now. He just needs to like catch that wave when it goes to tower. So like see now he's roaming back to the bot to catch the lane, and for like the whole minute before he just had like pressure just because he wasn't needed on the bot lane. You know, he just had free roaming power.
Now for everyone watching, obviously we have been focusing a lot on the top lane in itself. We will start looking at more things once we get out of this laning phase here, like we see here with some of the trading top lane. Overall, if you look at the game itself, it's looking pretty bad for Misfits.
Yeah.
They're not being able to go you know, really toe-to-toe early game, and they've been losing first tower, they lost Infernal Drake. And this has been like the best trade for Alfari all game, and he didn't even do anything.
Well, yeah, you cannot even do so much right now because, I mean, you have much better items, but if it's a long lane and Nautilus is a bit more pushed out, maybe you can look for all in, but it should be risky for him because you don't have a turret to hug, and
now that it's long
Rengar can possibly be there. Most likely Rengar is top side, and we see him right now. But yeah,
like the only way Renekton can win this lane, like even now in the long lane, is just like he needs to, if Expect decides to just do like his usual WE, like auto back, try to trade back, Renekton just needs to pop his ulti and chase him down the lane. That's his only win condition right now. Just because those trades without like ulti are just like irrelevant kind of.
And we see a lot of roams now. They kind of trade time to roam. First it was Expect, now it's Alfari, now it's Expect again. Is this just a very standard in the mid game as a top laner when you can't just win your side lane?
you can go.
Okay,
I'm so glad you both want to jump in.
It's not really about winning the side lane, it's just because like if Renekton wants to roam, then Nautilus will be at the way first, so then Renekton will be late to the lane, and then Nautilus can roam, and then it's like you just trade the windows of like 30 seconds where each other can roam, you know?
Yeah. But before it was because both tier 1s was up on top lane. Right now the map is open on bot. I mean there's one turret gone, so Expect have a much easier time of roaming on the map. Because the lane is long, right? You can just set up a slow push and then move to middle as he did earlier. He just missed one wave, but they got mid turret for it, right? So
yeah, but it's like the downside to this matchup is like Renekton cannot keep Nautilus in lane anymore, you know? Like if Renekton would be like strong enough, he could like just keep Nautilus in lane. He could just like chase him down, you know, and just keep him in lane and force him to trade back with you. But now like Nautilus is just gonna press WE, clear the wave in front of him, and just like roam to mid lane or something.
Right, so we're waiting for Expect to catch the wave, leave again.
We're
this
waiting
time
for the
Alfari
kills.
can move though.
Yeah,
waiting for the kills because Soaz has promised us he will also try and play-by-play team fight. Might not be the first game, could be the second game, but it will happen at some point. We can, you guys both allowed to take turns. We don't have to, obviously. We can just kind of talk over what's happening.
We can dual cast it.
Oh,
It'll be insane.
triple color.
You guys are actually dual casting. I'm the host here.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's all about you guys and about Alfari and Misfits.
We need your help also, like, you know, we're new to this.
I'll try.
You're like, since you're like, you know, player career wasn't so bright, you're like casting
Oh,
is
wow.
like amazing, so we kind of like trade turns now, you know?
That's fair. Okay, I'll take that one. I can't say much against you guys. Sadly. Did you actually realize when Soaz was a professional in Season 1, you weren't even close to being challenged or anything? Was Soaz like, was he your senpai? Was he your daddy or something?
Actually, I wasn't even like playing ranked. Actually, I will tell you a story. In Season 1, I had only one ranked game, and you have only one guess to guess. What champion did I play?
You played Ramus?
This guy got it.
Ah, come on. One ranked game when Soaz was playing in the World Final in Season 1.
Yes. Like I played Maokai, like the old Maokai, you know, where you press ulti for damage and like in front of like everyone, where you just have to like place it on the ground.
Was it AP Maokai?
I think it might have been tank already, so I don't really know.
Damn.
But I think it had like raw and stuff. But back then I didn't really play solo queue. I was just like that normal player. I was like playing without runes and masteries because I was like, hey, I'm good enough to like, you know, I don't need this to like beat other people. So I was just like this kind of like cocky kid.
They're gonna get herald for the Rengar. It's gonna be way too strong now.
What do you guys think of Rift Tail buff as top laners?
About what, sorry?
What do you think about the buff from the
Well, it
Rift
depends
Tail?
about the matchup, obviously. Like if you get Rift on Cameo or Renekton, if he's ahead, like in this matchup, if Renekton gets herald, it doesn't do much, right? But if you have Camilo, Renekton is ahead, then obviously it makes him even stronger, right?
Yeah, like if you have a carry into a tank pretty much, except for Rumble maybe. Even on Rumble it's pretty fine if you ever play against tanks, where you just don't proc it that much. I think it's really good. It just makes the tank side really hard. And if you have like say matchups like this, even tank versus tank kind of makes it good if you have like tools to like engage. Like for example, if you have Nautilus or Maokai, it's kind of good, just because you win side lane a lot more.
So if you have a carry top, is it ever worth it to put priority on getting the Rift Tail, or is it always, well, we're winning anyway, we have control?
I think there's a lot of factors that go to it, right? It depends, like, so you're gonna lose tempo if you, like, not in this game they didn't lose anything because they are like pretty far ahead in terms of tempo already. But it depends at the moment that you do herald, right? Because if you lose a lot of tempo to it, and you might lose your full vision and they will get deep wards and they might take a turret for it, then it's not worth it, right?
Yeah, it's not really worth it.
You should only take it if it's a free herald, pretty much.
Okay.
If your team has like the time where you have like already the vision set up, and you know, like say you took all the others and then you took Drake and there's like nothing to do on the map, and you like, you know, invaded or took their jungle camps, you can just go and take Herald.
Kind of the problem about the buff, it's lowest on the list. Like when you check everything off, like have you taken tower, have you gotten vision, have you pushed lanes, then like down in the bottom,
last one always,
you got it right,
much, yeah.
right down there in the end.
Just doesn't give you enough. It gives you like what, 50 gold per person. Everyone buys a potion. Wow, you won the game.
We don't want to see potions at that point. We don't want to see control wards.
Oh.
Obviously, as Odoamne, you're the team player. That's what you're known for as a top
Yes.
laner. So, what are you known for actually right now? It used to be the great escapes, the flashy plays,
The
but
6 top lane.
the 6, oh, the crazy picks. What are you known for right now?
I don't know, I'm just, I'm a washed up top laner. I'm being known for being washed up.
Hey man, at least maybe you can become like a great caster like the Fisher kid, you know?
It's kind of how it goes, you know. Become a pro, get washed up real quickly, and then boom.
He had an accent like you. He had like that pretty Danish accent, and you have your French accent, and look at how good he is now.
Maybe you can be a good duo one day.
Hey, one day I'll
Hey,
become
you
a
guys can be like
play-by-play
double color
caster.
again.
No, I'll become a play-by-play caster.
Maybe like Soaz can spank you later, you know?
Hey, a lot of things can happen. A lot of things can happen. When I talked to Soaz before the stream, he had a lot of different ideas, and I have to turn some of them down. But here we are. All right, so Alfari is still running between lanes. He's actually done about, you know, nothing in this game, which is not his fault only. But
what a game.
He can't really do a whole lot. It's 1-0 Misfits, but they're down 3k gold. Like this is a thriller, you know. This is where the crowd at home is just getting super excited.
G2 want to do. Like they just wanna, they really like to have these kind of games, you know, with low kills. Yeah, because like they're really good at playing the map. Or
yeah, like if you look at their comp, they have like, you know, they have pressure mid for pretty much the whole game, and they have Caitlyn, and they pretty much have like a tower siege. So whenever they get like pressure, they will like always roam with like Nautilus to cover a lane, and they just split into a 4-1 and just take towers.
So if you're Misfits, like, what's going through your mind at the moment? Is this just super annoying to play against because you just get choked out? Like, when you are the losing team
Sneaky
here...
bomb.
Yeah, this is really good. I think they won't see it. Now they kind of suspect it, but it's hard. I should maybe hawkshot it and it should be pretty... Yeah, it should be spotted.
It's really helpful speed on.
It's hard to finish, I think.
They have no wards to really TP on for
yeah, like
Renekton.
Renekton has no...
Yeah, he's gonna TP in the pits.
I think this is maybe their best chance for a...
But he's gonna get trapped instantly.
Yeah.
Perks has no mana.
Well, let's see. Oh! Blue team got it.
Came down to a smite battle.
And now they're losing the fight.
Yeah, pretty much. It was a good try just because like Porix was out of mana and people were chunked from Nashor. But it's just hard because like everyone was stuck over the wall, so like Renekton was in there alone.
It was pretty risky though, because he just came down to a smite battle, right? So
yeah,
if,
it was 50-50. It wasn't really that.
So if Rengar get it and maybe even die for it, it's really worth it for Misfits. So.
But if you were the losing team, was this kind of the chance you were waiting for? Is that what you communicate? Is that what you talk about? Like, hey, if they go Baron, we can maybe try and stop them?
I think they just saw it as a good opportunity because I think, so Misfits at Crab, right? They had Crab vision and they're thinking, oh, we have Baron vision, right? And then G2 just went for the plant and tried to sneak it.
Yeah, like when you're this behind, you can't really like you don't have control pretty much anywhere, so you just kind of like have to look for opportunities, and that's what Misfits were looking for, I guess, because that was their only opportunity with that Nashor, because everyone was chunked and Perks no mana, so.
Sick replay, yeah. Perks no mana, 50-50. Cow gets in.
Yeah, just everyone is over the wall. Like Oriana's wasn't even there, so it's just hard to fight there. And like everyone is now it's just a 5-on-2 in the Baron pit, so. And now Ignite's kind of split. I don't know if he will die here. Yeah, probably he dies. Yeah. It's just hard. Like that team fight was like a 5-on-2.
Oh, again!
Oh, this is good.
When are you gonna play by play?
I mean, it's not really his fault, you know. Like the play-by-play was
true.
happening when
it's a really tough job.
No, but this was really good by Misfits because this is kind of like your only chance.
They're stalling the Baron too,
yeah.
so
this is your only chance to do anything against the Baron team. You just kind of like catch them when they set it up. But it's really hard. Like if G2 was more disciplined a bit, they would have like no opportunity and this game was over. But Misfits got a good catch there.
So this was basically, in your opinion, like a few mistakes from G2. Like
I think they were just over-eager.
Okay.
They're like they didn't really wait for like they had the silent pressure top, some pressure mid, and they could be like just communicate. Hey, be careful bot because they don't show anyone.
I think it would have been really good if they would have just forced TP and go back. Like they could have just forced Renekton TP, put trap, chunk him, force him to go away. And just go back to Baron later. Renekton is not gonna have TP. You have to go silent at some point and just force it at this point.
Yeah, it would have been okay. That would have been like a safer play, just because they would have like so much map advantage.
Take down mid tower though. Only one tower for Misfits in this game, and now 5 for G2, so they have like full map control.
Usually with this Baron you can only take like the inner towers, not really the inhib towers. But I think G2's comp is like so good that they can just like Nautilus hook into just like dive an inhib tower, because usually that's what happens. You just take the inners with the first Baron, and with the second Baron you kind of like try to crack open the base. And sometimes that's hard. But I think in this game like G2 can just like force the base easily, just because Nautilus is such a good tank and has like such big range. And like G2's comp is just like quick. They have like you'll have like Braum, just perma CC after Nautilus hooks, and Syndra can just one-shot someone. They just need to kill someone and then the base is open.
Yeah, especially with Misfits being behind right now, they have like nothing to force, right? They have a Nash arrow, but what is gonna really follow up against what was the combo of G2?
Yeah.
Who's gonna follow up the Ash arrow when Braum and Nautilus are being in the front, just stalling people from going into their backline?
But I think they can't even like Ash Arrow someone, because if Nautilus just sits in front of everyone, who are they gonna engage? Like Ash Arrow is only on.
Yeah, only when Nautilus is. I mean when Nautilus was like not there, but.
Yeah, and now even like Killing has QSS, so they're and Porix has cleanse, so it's just it's just hard. You don't have any effective tools to engage on anyone, just because they have like G2 has answers for everything.
But we always see the frustration, and you just kill the enemy support instead, and that's about it. If we get the fight.
It seems like it's gonna be a Fnatic game of hugging turret.
Is that something you practice now?
Yes, we are practicing. Is the mindset, Being positive.
Behind and
be positive. I mean, that's a good skill to have. Just like being positive, Like if Misfits is now like 8k gold behind, great. And they're like being positive, and it's like fine,
Maybe they can get one team fight, but I think they don't have the late game. At least in our comp, we might be able to win the game by winning late team fight, but I think with the comp of Misfits, they cannot even.
They have like this early mid game comp, and like G2 was like even supposed to be like more late game focus, just because like Kaelin becomes such a beast, and they want the early mid game. So that's like that wasn't really supposed to happen, and that kind of like starts even from like the Renekton Nautilus matchup. Like Nautilus just had free laning phase, which shouldn't happen.
Do you guys feel like Renekton suffers as a pick when it's against AD carries that has some sort of mobility, like a Caitlyn net? Like, does it make it harder for Renekton in fights, or is it still fine to play these team fights?
Well, I think against Caitlyn it's okay, but it's more, as Odoamne said earlier during pick and draft, it's the Braum. The Braum like denies Renekton pretty hard, and Nautilus is really good at that too. I think from Misfits I would have like a different jungler, honestly. Just to like set up the Renekton early on, and I don't really think that Graves against Braum, Syndra, Kate. I don't remember when it got picked, but I don't think Graves do so much against those champions.
I would have wanted like Elysian or something, just like something with early gank pressure. So maybe like Renekton is just like kind of notorious for just like you can die from 100 to 0 if he has like stacked rage, and like Nautilus in the early game he's still a tank, but he's just sitting on the potion that's like giving him no stats. So like if they go there, they could just like kill him easily. And as for team fights, I don't know, with Renekton is just really hard, just because what he was good at was when you would play lethality AD carries, and the lethality with like 40 armor pen would hit the tank, and he would do like 100 damage. But right now, like with Kaelin with like 80% crit and maybe like Last Whisper soon, she's gonna hit for like 500 every auto attack on the Renekton. So he's just really hard for him to do something, because like now he has like he's kind of full damage and only like a ward and smell.
I mean, you have to, because
the sick flank.
They have the Caitlyn, right? So at some point later in the game, you cannot take traps, so you pretty much have to. You're forced to flank.
Yeah, you can't really do. Yeah, it's hard. But even now with like USS, the thing is like they just have so many answers for Renekton, so he's just kind of like running around, and it's kind of like a miracle if he manages to do anything.
So do we feel Renekton is weaker on 7-5 now due to some of the AD carry changes, or is he just like it's harder to execute the composition with him because you have to snowball early?
I mean, you don't. I think the champion snowball on its own, or is supposed to snowball on its own, then you can snowball even harder, maybe like by getting dives or stuff like this. But I feel like this game, even though they have Graves, right, they are not gonna kill the Nautilus most likely, as I said, but they should have. Renekton should have at least get the TP of Nautilus, right?
Yeah, he should.
Get at least the TP of Nautilus, and maybe by getting their TP, they should have been able to set up a dive bottom with Renekton TP. Yeah, like so if you don't kill the Nautilus, you can get the dive bot and get first threat. That would be something that you get based on having the Renekton pick.
Yeah, I agree. Like, for example, even in our game against you all, like we had Camille into Renekton. It's like kind of carry versus carry, and just like Vijachi just played like really well on the Renekton, so he just kind of like punished Camille's weak early game, and it's kind of like the same situation here. Like Nautilus has a weak early game, and like Renekton should have been able to punish it just 1v1, just because like that champion is so strong.
Oh, someone getting one shot.
Yeah. Oh, it's going well though. Like Nautilus in the front of everyone. Like look, everyone's focusing Nautilus and nothing's happening, while Renekton is
heading away, but they can't seek E from Perkovic.
Oh my god, and that ultimate, just one shot Orianna, so much skill. Quadra kill.
I mean, it was a good flash from Perks coming in.
I believe they're gonna end the game, no?
Yeah, this I think, what's the time? 40 seconds? I think it's over here.
Or at least they're gonna get so much of the base that Misfits.
That was like such a classic G2 game, slow game and then one team fight and the game is over,
It was 0-1 for like the first 20 minutes when G2 had a 3-4k gold advantage and then took the Baron.
Yeah, only like 2 kills on bot, and besides it was just pretty much the bounce, right?
Yeah. It's just like they got outscaled really hard. It's a lot easier for G2 to control the map, You just like have Nautilus walk into everyone, and if you hit him he's gonna press W, and he's just not gonna get chunked at all. And like with Renekton, if he walks in somewhere, especially with this build, he's just gonna get blown away.
I will just like, I would like Misfits to have the same like early jungler like Lee Sin, and having the Syndra instead of the Orianna, so they can set up more and do more things early on.
Yeah, I think their combo was kind of like a weird mix. Just like, if they would have had like, early pick Syndra and just take like Syndra and Renekton, even like Syndra and Renekton with Graves would be like fine, just because you have like power pick mid, power pick mid, power pick top, and like decent jungler. So it would have been a good mix, better than what it is now. Just because like now Orianna doesn't really pressure, Renekton kind of like failed to pressure, and Graves is like Graves is like good if he like gets invades off like top is pushing, mid is pushing, ball is pushing, you just invade just because he's like a really strong 1v1 jungler.
They got the kill on Rengar early on, but
yeah,
they didn't do much with it.
But even then, it was still kind of late because they had like first blood and they were still like behind like 500 gold at like 10 minutes, so that was like kind of massive.
I am very proud of you guys, though. First cast right here. We got some ooh-ohs in there. There were even some, maybe there's a comeback. It's a classic caster move as well.
That was amazing.
It was not the most exciting game when it comes to action, and also the top lane matchup due to Renekton, obviously.
I think the matchup is supposed to be more explosive, but Alphari, I don't know if he wanted to play defend due to expect pushing the first wave, but he just played the lane really passive.
Yeah, like even when we played Misfits.
Gotta cut you off, I'm sorry. We gotta toss it to the analyst desk. Next time.
Thank you very much, guys, respectively, on